Of Q broadcast, it's taking the world by storm. People are cutting the cord to their high cable bills and moving away from streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and others for something better. Q broadcast. For just $60 a month, you'll get access to every channel you could ever want, including HBO, Cinemax, and Stars. And the best part, there are no contracts, no hidden fees, and you're free to cancel anytime. With Q Broadcast, you can enjoy streaming live TV, movies, and top series on up to 5 devices at once. Whether you're at home or on the go, Q Broadcast makes sure your entertainment is always at your fingertips. Imagine being able to watch all your favorite channels from anywhere, anytime, without any restrictions. We're talking about thousands of movies, hundreds of TV series, and a huge library of live channels, all in one place. And don't forget video on demand and pay-per-view events. Those are included at no extra cost, so you'll never miss a big event again. Now, take a second and think about your current cable bill. You're probably paying anywhere between $100 and $300 every month, locked into long-term contracts and hit with surprise rate increases. With Q Broadcast, that's a thing of the past. It's just $60 a month. No contracts, no extra fees, no hidden costs, and no price hikes. Why juggle multiple subscriptions like Netflix, Hulu, and cable when Q Broadcast gives you everything you need in one convenient package? People everywhere are switching to Q Broadcast, saving money and getting more content than ever before. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description and sign up for Q Broadcast today. Just $60 a month, no contracts, no hidden fees. It's time to take control of your entertainment and start streaming smarter.
We live in a world where men are told it's harmless. It's just entertainment. But let's stop lying to ourselves. Pornography destroys. It weakens your spirit. It dulls your drive. And it robs you of what real intimacy is supposed to be. Every click is a step away from the man you're supposed to be. We can't call ourselves leaders if we are slaves to a screen.
As someone that is prior service, I know all about discipline. And discipline isn't out there, it's within your mind. Porn rewires your brain, weakens your will, wrecks all of your relationships. It doesn't just stay on a screen, it invades your marriage, your confidence, and your actual purpose. As men, if we don't learn to discipline ourselves, we'll be ruled by our impulses. Now, it is time to stand up and take control before this silent war takes more than you're willing to lose.
Real men don't hide in the shadows of shame. We step up and we protect what's ours. We fight for our wives and kids, our own hearts. Twitter isn't just an app, it's a weapon. It's a tool used to break free and start living like the man that you're meant to be. The battle's here and it starts with you. You can stop living in shame and you can break free today.
Here at the Anomic Age, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the Anomic Age, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the John Age Project at anomicage.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response. Shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, and
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrison?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
That she feels like she doesn't want to be like everyone else, and she wants to be her own person. And through the dress code and her lifestyle, she's expressing this. It doesn't conform with our rules, but we're learning to cope, and it's a very, very difficult thing. Extremely difficult.
Dareth, let's let you talk for yourself. You're from Long Beach, California.
I just can't handle being like everybody else because that's what everybody else wants, you know. Just because somebody else does something does not mean that I have to do it. You know, I have my own morals and ideals, and I go by them.
Are you drug-free, Dareth?
Yes, I am.
Is this a political statement, then? Is it? Do you have some misgiving about the society that you see?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, you know. A lot of the people are really aware of what's going on, you know, and I don't like it, you know. There's a lot of problems. I don't like the way society is based.
What bothers you? Give us some of the misgivings you have.
The rich, the poor, the people starving, the wars. You know, why can't, you know, everybody just get along and just live their life?
Selling real and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
Selling real and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the Anomic Age, and I am your host, John H., coming at you in the dark side of the AM. Thanks for being with us once again this evening. Please check out anomicage.com. Looks exactly like that if you're checking it out on your browser right about now. PayPal.me/anomicage, Patreon.com/anomicage as well. Those are the best ways that you can find me, support everything that I do, get updates on the show, and so much more. We got the Cash App. We got the PayPal link, the Patreon link, subscribe by email link, free newsletter, iPhone app, Android app, and so much, much more. Right there at anomicage.com. So thanks ever so much for joining us here in the dark side of the AM. I'm going to try to keep things brief as far as the introduction goes. We got so much information. I'm kind of drowning in information. I'm trying to sort things out and try to come up with the most concise way to cover all of this stuff. In case you missed it, information breakdown segment, we're going to talk about Trump's AI plan to end humanity. Whoo, folks, it's downright scary out there, I got to tell you. As far as what's actually coming down, scary, baby, scary. So here's the obvious in case you missed it. We got Trump promises executive order to block state AI regulations. But wait, there's more. Trump moves to centralize AI oversight with sweeping national order. So in case you missed this whole deal, this was an attempt during the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, a couple months back. They were trying to push this in at that point in the game. What we were trying to really push in, not me, but he was trying to push in, was basically the deregulation or the deregulation of any sort of oversight of this AI juggernaut that's being thrust upon everyone. So the way the states have it right now is, what do you know? Very constitutional. It's how things are actually supposed to go. You know, the states actually have their own deregulation. And just like, this is the irony of ironies, because when Trump didn't ban abortion, no, that would make too much sense. He basically just pushed it down to the states' rights issue. And he even grandstanded and campaigned, oh, it's a states' rights thing now. Oh, it's a states' rights thing now. We're not going to ban the murder of children. No. We're going to kick it to the states. So, okay, so states can have the right to decide if a child gets murdered, but they can't have the right to regulate the AI that's going to be used to dismantle that state. That pretty much is the summarization of really what's going on here. So this was tried during the NDAA, thrust upon us, no dice. Then it was tried again during the big, beautiful bill, but the Senate had enough sense to take out that 10-year moratorium on states actually having their own rights, again, states' rights. So now, dear old DJT is going to make an executive order forcing, again, raping the states and forcing the states to go by a national AI mandate. No more will the states have individual rights. No, it'll be forced upon you now. I suppose just like everything else at the barrel of a gun. So that's really what's going on here. And I got, this was, I think, a couple weeks back, because this has been planned for a while. And this is just some of the little goodies in there. I just wanted to read this one to you. On the legislation side, the order directs the Attorney General, it's Pam Bondi, Captain Doolittle, to establish a litigation task force solely focused on challenging state AI laws. The contemplated lawsuits would include challenges that such laws transgress dormant commerce clauses, constraints, and blah, 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 blah. So, in case you missed it, there's going to be hypothetically, of course, I don't think this has been signed yet, and we're sitting at 2:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right about now on December 9th. Anyway, hadn't been yet signed, but this is what they believe to be in the bill. So they're going to have basically a hit squad on the legislative side of things to go after states that are just going to be non-compliant, troublemakers, rabble-rousers, boat rockers, if you will, doing that anti-tyranny thing that this country was founded on, states' rights and all that, But don't worry. The order directs the Attorney General to establish a litigation task force. One more time, because I know somebody ain't believing me. solely focused on challenging states' AI laws. So if you're a state and happen to not want to go along with the bull jive that the federal governments are raping upon you, then don't worry. They're going to have a special task force to come after you. Yeah. So we're going to go into some of the minutia a little bit, and then we're going to go broad spectrum as to how this is really going to be applicable to the average Joe in Los Estados Unidos. So they couldn't get it done with the NDAA. No. They couldn't get it done in the big, beautiful bill. No. So now Trump's going to take it upon himself to do the dictatorial thing that he's often accused of by those commie fruit bats. Except in this instance, I think it's pretty darn obvious. The states do not want a mandated AI set of laws from the feds. It's real easy, folks. It's real easy to understand this. More central government power over the people is never good. What's that old Reagan quote? We're the government and we're here to help. The scariest words in the English language. We're the government. We're here to help. We're the government and we're here to force you at the barrel of a gun to go by what we mandate because we're the feds. And we just do this at the stroke of a pen, a la executive order. So that's really what's going on here. And in case you missed this, because this was all rolled out during the big, beautiful bill, I think we still have this one on the screen. Let's see if we do. Here's just some of the little goodies from the big, beautiful bill. We need this bigger because no one can see this. There we go. So increased military spending, check. I mean, the real thing that you should definitely have a pause for here, because the increased military spending, once again, George Washington time, no more foreign entanglements. Well, we're going to increase the military spending yet again, because that's just what we do around here in the formerly great country of America. There's one I really wanted to throw out there. I'll come back to this one. This has nothing to do with it. Immigration enforcement funds. Yeah, we're increasing all that. But we got to check the real fine points here. DHS, ICE, all the big alphabet soup agencies, expanded budget for surveillance and AI modernization. Yeah, did you miss that? Expanded budget for AI modernization. Yeah, I think you just heard me. And I think it's kind of like sinking in just a little bit, don't you think? Here's one I wanted to throw out here. Breaking new defense spending bill sits at $900 billion, with $400 million included for Ukraine. So in case you somehow thought that Trump was on your side and going to stop all this malarkey, no. $900 billion defense with $400 million more for the Ukraine. I want you to think about that if you're living paycheck to paycheck. I want you to think about that if you have no medical. I want you to think about that if you're living on the street. I want you to think about that while you're going to your second and third job, never seeing your family, never seeing your kids. I want you to think about that one, folks, as you're driving across the crumbling infrastructure of the United States, hitting potholes the size of small craters, driving over rickety bridges, seeing the grotesquely outdated infrastructure in the dams and waterways. I mean, California is just one of many that's just joke level, has been for decades. But don't worry, because it's $400 million for Ukraine. All right, back to this. I want to finish this point here. The obvious stock market influx when Palantir gets all this money. And oh yeah, in case you missed it, Golden Dome. What a joke. It's just so nauseating. SpaceX, more money. What was the other one that I really wanted to touch on here? Oh, they believe that Palantir is going to get the nod for the contract. Well, of course they are. They've already gotten the nod for the contract. Excuse me. AI regulation, and I already covered that, the 10-year moratorium. So that's just what we can hope to see, don't you know, as things just continue to get worse. And let's draw some connections, because maybe someone's catching this for the first time. I've covered this ad nauseum, but we'll hit it one more time. Because this is the reason that J.D. Vance was really put in there as the VP, another never Trumper. It doesn't really matter because both of these individuals are both never America. The America First movement is dead. Trump's BS MAGA movement is dead. It's all just horse pucky. Because after all, people that actually are America First, and I got my problems with both of these people, but Thomas Massey, yeah. MTG, allegedly, yeah. They're now persona non grata. They're now enemy of America, right? So back to the obvious. J.D. Vance was put in there to really push this Palantir thing because Mr. Gay Peter Thiel, Mr. Israel First Peter Thiel, that boob, yeah, he just happened to just pull, I guess, a name out of his hat, and we got Peter Thiel just putting old. Coming out of nowhere, J.D. Vance. Oh, remember, he was in the military running information. Mm-hmm. And then Stephen Cohen, you got to love him. Another greatest ally first, Stephen Cohen, one of the co-founders with Peter Thiel of Palantir. So Palantir, nothing more than an, what we got here? Nothing more than an Israeli data gathering tool for Mossad. That's really all Palantir is. So in case you missed it, everything in Big Beautiful Bill gives basically full control to Palantir. And this was in all of the news. I think I didn't pull this article up, but basically it's giving Palantir carte blanche to start setting up a dossier on every American citizen to be controlled by Palantir, to be controlled by AI. So I ask you, how is this any different than the Barry Soetoro threat fusion centers that were already gathering data? Just wondering. And speaking of which, how is it that Barry Soetoro bad for using the federal government and its agencies to target dissidents? Remember, because he was going after the 501c3s that were Christian and the 501c3s that are conservative. Yeah, he was going after that with the illegal, unconstitutional IRS. And now we've got Trump, allegedly, as he signs this into executive order probably tomorrow, doing the same thing with states that are daring to not comply, be tyrants, I suppose, or anti-tyrannical dissidents of the government. How's that any different, folks? It's good for the goose, but not good for the gander. Is that what's going on here? It seems pretty obvious to me that's the plan. It's the same playbook set forward by Barry Soetoro. Trump's just following suit, doing the same blame thing. And then we have the little issue of Pam Bondi now is going to be making a list and checking it twice. Going to find out who's naughty and nice, right? For the Christmas season, just for those boobs loving Christmas. I'll do a little song for it. So Pam Bondi's going to make a list, check it twice, of all those government dissidents, all those people who question DJT, all those people who happen to question our greatest ally, all those people who happen to question our involvement with anything, our greatest ally, all those people who maybe happen to question Miriam Adelson and that 100 mil donated to the press. Maybe they're even questioning Ted Cruz and the various other boobs in House, Senate, and all three branches of government, folks, that are getting kickbacks. I mean, just getting funded from our greatest ally. That seem a little odd to you? That now, if you dare to question, you're going to be on a list? Again, how is that any different than Obama's list of folks to go after? How is that any different, folks? Somebody, maybe you can answer me this question in the comments. How? How is that any different? The real answer is it's not. It's not any different at all. So you got J.D. Vance, or whatever he's calling himself now after he's changed his name 3 or 4 times, formerly working for Palantir, big buddies with Captain Gay, Peter Thiel. And of course, big buddies with the co-founder. What was his name? I just had his name up there. Stephen Cohen. Yeah. Captain Israel first, too. Just like Peter Thiel. Nothing to see here, right? It's all just normal. Is that what's up? Just normal. So it looks like what we're going to have is a central intelligence agency that's really just an NGO because they're not an official central intelligence agency. They're not CIA, NSA, DARPA, FBI, or any of the others. So I guess this would be outside of the purview of those lovely threat fusion centers by Barry Soetoro, because now it's all going to be farmed out to who? Palantir, the Israeli Front Organization, gathering data from Assad. So who do you think their loyalties are going to be? Is their loyalty going to be somebody that points out everything I just did? The Adelsons, the funding, the kickbacks? What do you think? You see, it's a stifling of the noticing that's been going on. They're trying to stifle out and do a chilling effect on everybody that's noticing the people that you can't criticize. That's really what's going on here, folks. But that's just one cog in this very, very satanic machine. Just one. Because really what this is as it's described on the screen. Let's put it up for you. Somebody's missing this. Trump's AI plan to end humanity. And somebody's going, man, that's a little strong, John. You really think so? Oh, I absolutely know so. I'm going to go out and go full bore here, man. It is absolutely Trojan horse of Trojan horses. Because the first incarnation of DJT, everybody said, oh my goodness, I can't believe this outsider got elected. Folks, please. They are selected, not elected. Oh, did I mention Peter Thiel on the steering committee of the Bohemian Grove? Did I mention that? Anyway. Let's put that. Somebody's going to try to say, no, John. Where is that at? I just saw that bad boy and I ain't going to let it go. Or is it the, hold on. Somebody's going to, 2025 Bilderberg Conference, Thiel's influence. Yeah. What's the other one? Oh man, I had this thing pulled up and now I can't find it. What a bunch of bags of pus. Oh, let me get this off the screen. Somebody's freaking out. What happens to Betsy? I can't find it. I had it pulled up and now I've lost it in this morass of nonsense. Oh, well, I ain't stressing it. We ain't going to worry about it too much right now. If you want to fact check me on it and claim that I'm wrong, that's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Anyway, that's old Peter Thiel. You can look up all this stuff on Peter Thiel. If I'm wrong on the Bohemian Grove thing, then fact check me on it. Anyway, not the point of this whole thing. Somebody's going, how is this actually Trump's AI plan to end humanity? Because during the first term, everybody went, oh my goodness, he's an outsider. He beat Hills. Now she's going to jail because he said so in those debates. What a crock of hooey. Not a chance. Not a chance, folks. Not a chance. And then, the election was stolen in round 2. Shucks. Didn't see that coming. My goodness gracious. Stevie Wonder could have seen that coming. We know he ain't blind. Anyway.
And then we got round 3, and everybody went, oh, goody. House and Senate. And he's gotten back in. We're going to see a change coming. Boy, were we mistaken. Anybody to believe that bull job, please. What this really is, folks, this big plan to end humanity, this is not a surprise. This is everything that was discussed in the Rio summit in the 90s. Agenda 21, anyone? Rhyme intended. And then just a few years back with Agenda 2030. That's what this is all about, folks. It is an AI plan to end humanity. And here's how this works, folks. It's so multi-layered, I don't even know if we can cover all these things in one night. But we'll cover some of the obvious. So why do they want AI in there? Well, they want AI in there because they know that through this ESG system, they can fund all these different groups. They can fund things that they know don't turn a profit. That's why you see AI rolled out everywhere. Every store, every grocery store, everything else, you're seeing AI like floor buffers and machines everywhere. And gradually with that, they've caused this divisive nation to really arise, and this weaponization of the different races and the different factions. So they're saying, oh, because everybody of color seems to be stealing in these communist bleep holes, and not everybody, I'm saying that very tongue-in-cheek. These various people in these communist bleep holes are stealing so much, we're going to have to put everything behind a glass case. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to have everything AI. And then we're going to roll out AI restaurants. So it's all going to be AI. And we've set everyone up with the COVID hoax to get accustomed to being locked down and to doing the flowers for Algernon and walking 6 feet apart and wearing your slave shackle over your face and following trivial rules. Everything I've covered in the Bitterman coercion chart ad nauseum in this show. Bitterman coercion chart, look into it if you missed it. So all those trivialities, all the different elements of monopolization of power, the Bitterman coercion chart to break the individual, all this taken out of Korean POW camps that were primarily, Dr. Bitterman was looking at primarily Air Force, I do believe, POWs in the Korean War, and seeing how they were broken by the different torture techniques, by this monopolization of power, trivial tasks, the like, broken to give false confessions and turn over information and so forth. How was this done? That was what was up. So the Bitterman coercion chart, early 1960s, uncovered in the early 1970s for the first time, I believe, and then again in Guantanamo. They're still using this, like 50-plus-year-old document now to break POWs, to break prisoners, to break captives. Except now it's not on persona non grata across the sea or whoever we happen to pick a fight with now, but now it's on the American people. That's really what the trauma-based mind control has been about since the early 1960s up until today, and was abso-smurfly used with the COVID hoax. So what the COVID hoax got is people used to all that nonsense, but it also got people used to doing things like tele-appointments and telemedicine and so forth. But, 5-6 years ago, whatever the COVID hoax first started rolling out, when you were doing that then, it was still an actual person, but now it will be AI. So during the next false flag rollout of the next hoax, it's not just going to be an actual doctor on the other end of the line. It's going to kind of be like those little bot systems you see on most of the big companies and even universities now, where they'll have these little chat bots that'll say, hey, what do you need? Ooh, what can I help you with? And it's not an actual person. It's just an AI bot getting your basic information so that they can somehow point you to someone in India to help you that you can't understand, and it's going to be a bunch of garbled, nightmarish mess. So it'd be the same thing. It's just they've upped the ante on this. So keep in mind, every bit of technology that you think is new and innovative and cool, it's 50 years old. That doesn't even scratch the surface of the reality of the dystopian nightmare that we live in. So during the next false flag hoax, everybody will comply just like clockwork again, because they're a bunch of weak, cowardly, sniveling, ballless, gutless, don't say, almost went there, entities. Because I swear to you, most of the individuals, and they're not individuals at all anymore, the people, the citizenry, the plebs, are anything but human and absolutely not individual. That's all that trauma-based mind control. It causes the Borg to assimilate the masses. But when the next big hoax comes, people will fall in line with the next AI chatbots that will be the telemedicine. And all this is already being used with Palantir. It's already being used with the AI of today, and also goes hand in hand with every single store you go in now. Everything is behind glass, and there's cameras everywhere. All this is wired in, just like all the cameras that they claim, that just wasn't in Utah during the Charlie Kirk event. Folks, there's cameras all over every single college campus, all over every single hospital, all over every single state and federal building. And in case you missed it, all over every single big box store, small box store, darn near mom and pop and the like, folks. It's all wired in. So they can tell your mood from your gait. They can tell if you're looking at something naughty on your device or not. They can tell if you just had an argument with your wife. They can tell if your pulse is elevated by your expressions and everything else. All this is old tech. But the people are just now figuring it out. Like we got like 2 feet in the bear trap. We're in quicksand up to our eyeballs, and people are just now going, oh my goodness, I think there's a problem. You think so yet? So that's how this is going to work hand in hand with the surveillance system that's already been laid out. The surveillance system was already put into place, but it was really revealed during the false flag of 9/11, during the Patriot Act, during the NDAA of that time. It was all revealed with the TSA and the like. That's where all this really began, because it was for your safety. Don't forget, it was all for your safety. So these elements were already in play. And then more recently, the AI, the Palantir systems have hooked into this. And just like I revealed in what we just saw here. Where is this one more time? Because somebody ain't believing me. This. So you're getting an increased budget for all AI, and you're getting an increased budget to keep people safe from those crazy illegals. And all this is for your safety, folks. The big beautiful bill is a NDAA Volume 2. It's a Patriot Act Volume 2. But you don't notice it. You don't notice it because it's called the big beautiful bill. Kind of like the Patriot Act. Did you miss that? Anytime that there's something that's going to completely rape you of your rights, it's going to be entitled something that's enticing. I mean, this is just Edward Bernays Marketing 101. I mean, if you're feeding the general public cancer balls, you're not going to call it cancer balls. No, you're going to call it corn puffs. You're going to call it, Fritos or whatever the stupid mess is. What's that orange crap? I can't remember. I haven't eaten this stuff in like 30 years. I can't even remember what the stuff's called. But that's the deal, folks. They're not going to call it cancer balls. They're not going to call it death on a stick. They're going to call it, here's some ice cream. Here's some GMO. With all the estrogen-mimicking hormone, with all the fake colors that'll give your kid ADHD and all these asinine diseases. Here's some. In case you missed it, what was that COVID crap called? Operation Warp Speed. These 3 different vaccines that were rolled out. That wasn't called, this will kill you deader than a hammer. This will give you myocarditis. This will foul up your DNA irrevocably. No, it was called Operation Warp Speed. This is for your safety. This is for your protection. This is for your own good. That's what this is called. So just like the Patriot Act, this is the big, beautiful bill. What could possibly be nefarious in the big, beautiful bill? I don't know. A central NGO power structure that's going to control all of the AI. And now, thanks to this any day now executive order, it's going to have complete control. And the states aren't going to be able to opt out of it. They're not going to be able to supersede it with their own individual states' rights, because if they do, oh my goodness, Pam Bondi might actually find her spine and come after you. I mean, she can't find her spine to go after, let's see, the Anthony Weiner laptop filth, the Epstein client filth, Ghislaine's in a club fed, Barry Soetoro oversight out the wazoo, the Clinton crime syndicate, the Bush crime syndicate. None of these people can be prosecuted, charged, or even looked into. But you can. But you can if you dare to question our greatest ally. But you can if you say anything naughty about our dear old DJT. That's what's up, folks. And people really have not grasped the severity of what we're in. When I said earlier, we got 2 feet in a bear trap and the mud's up to our eyeballs, I was not exaggerating, folks. Because this really is the full rollout of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. In case you missed it, folks, all these different states now are forcing you to have a digital ID. In case you missed it, folks, doing away with pennies is step 1 in doing away with cash. How they used to say this? First it's registration, then it's confiscation. First it's pennies, then it's nickels and dimes, then it's quarters. Then you don't have cash anymore. You have a digital currency. You have a social credit score backed digital currency. Just like we got in China, rolled out with the own U.S. Dragonfly program and lovely Google. And if you thought it was just Peter Thiel, if you thought it was just J.D. Vance, if you thought that it was just these boobs, remember Doge? Remember old Muskie? They went through this whole melange of turds and had the people believing that, they're not friends anymore. You see, it's the old enemy of my enemy is my friend, because nobody liked Musk a couple years ago. Then he basically put the bait on the trap and bought X. He bought X. He's going to change things around and make it more fair. So he set the trap. He baited the conservative boobs into thinking that he was somehow conservative. Meanwhile, his Halloween costume is some demonic entity with an inverted cross and 666 all over it. But he's legit conservative, right? Meanwhile, he's doing his own Epstein breeding program. He's got some tranny kid, but he's conservative, right? So after all that, DJT decides to put in this Doge program, another sort of NGO, just out of government reach of oversight, kind of thing. He puts in Doge under the auspice that dear old Muskie has now seen the error in his ways, and he is on the conservative side. Whew. And I guess the general public with an intellect, about the size of a pea, IQ below room temperature, I'm not trying to talk trash. I mean, the general public is in the malaise of all malaises. It's no exaggeration that it is an absolute bio-warfare bonanza against the general public. Air, food, water, everything in between is tainted to dumb you down. I mean, people are just now figuring out fluoride dumbed people down. They're just now figuring this out. And this has been going on for like 60 plus years. People are just now figuring this is actually like a waste product. That has been put in the water supply of municipalities all over this nation for 60 plus years. Under the guise that it's good for your teeth. Don't worry, it increases dental fluorosis. Don't worry, it dumbs you down. Don't worry, we've seen like the steepest of IQ declines as this whole thing is rolled out. In conjunction with like 5 other deliberately dumbing down Charlotte Iserby book of America. Yeah, deliberately dumbing everybody down. So I'm not surprised that everybody's such a moron. I'm not surprised that people are like, what do you mean Doge's not good? They use that to get the daggum camel in the tent flap, folks, because they knew the general public conservative would go, oh, goody, now we're going to go after the left. We're going to go after the left and expose all this expenditures and these ridiculous fundings and all these ridiculous programs. Okay. What that really did is let for all practical purposes, Doge NGO into all forms of information having to do with the government and the citizens thereof. Pre the Palantir sellout big beautiful bill. So that just kind of greased the skids. That just kind of opened the door. Oh, by the way, now Muskie's got all your data. Now Muskie's already like seen everything, basically. So everybody became acclimated with that because after all, Muskie was a good guy. He switched sides. So everybody went along to get along. But now it ain't just Muskie. Now we fell for not me, fell for the ruse, the con, the hustle, the dodge that Trump and Muskie were on the outs. Oh my goodness gracious. I wish they'd just be friends again. People fall for this BS, man. People fall for this parasocial crap over and over again. Like I've said on the show many times, to paraphrase old Billy Shakespeare, folks, all the world's a stage and the people merely actors upon it. It's just a show, folks. It's a big club and you ain't in the club. You ain't in the club. Oh, by the way, in case you missed this, old Erica Kirk, I think it was 2 days ago, had this big dinner at Mar-a-Lago that was $10,000 a plate, a big old fundraiser. 10G a plate. And yet you people, somebody out there in the listening audience right now still believes the hype, still believes the Charlie Kirk narrative, still believes Erica's just a good chick, still believes that Trump's on your side, still believes the malarkey, man, still believes the sealed indictments, still believes trusted plans, still believes the Q, the whole 9 yards, still believe he's really still America first in light of all the hoopla, hogwash, and hog phlegm that we've witnessed, all the brown stuff that the American people have had their noses rubbed. There is still people in D.C. Guantanamo from the January 6th baloney, people. I'm guessing most of the listening audience couldn't make the 10G a plate dinner function at Mar-a-Lago to give multi-millionaire, before she was even married, Erica Kirk, and now multi-millionaire many times over, CEO of Turning Point USA, aka another mouthpiece obfuscation for our greatest allies. That's what's up. So back to the point. That's who now controls all the data. That's who now is in control over whether or not you're going to be able to buy or sell when they do away with the money. It's Agenda 21. It's Agenda 2030. It's now just the revamp of the same old thing. So when you go to your big box store and everything's behind glass, you're going to have to pay with your debit or credit card, and it'll be predicated on your social credit score. And that will all be predicated on what old Palantir says about you. Because after all, maybe Pam Bondi put you on a list because you said something bad online. Maybe you're like that guy in Florida who's serving time for speaking negatively about those greatest allies. That's setting the precedent. I don't even know if that's a real person either. I think that was just to grease the skids as well and get the average boobs comfortable with it. Remember, like that former governor of Virginia, we're going to keep the baby comfortable. Remember AJ speaking that mess a long time ago? I mean, mess, that was real life. That was keeping the baby comfortable until we decide if we're going to kill it. It's a states' rights issue, you know, unless you're Palantir. And then it's a federal mandate and rape of your constitutional rights, liberties, and justice for all. Because after all, we all knew that was a scam, didn't we? So, after Palantir takes full control of the reins, and you've been labeled a dissident by Bondi, and you go into your big box store and you can't buy what you once did because, after all, you're a dissident. How is this actually going to play out even further down the road? Because this is where I say people just haven't really fully grasped how screwed we are as AI takes over. And they're going to frame this in this retarded way that this is somehow reminiscent of the space race. Ooh, the space race with JFK. We were in a space race with Russia. If you believed that, you are a simpleton. But they're going to frame this in the same context. Like, ooh, we're in a space race with China. You mean China that we, Nixon opened trade with like 47, 8 years ago now? You mean the China that we created? Like, we created this monstrosity. Bush was over there chummy with old greatest murderer of all time, Mao. One child policy, again, backed by Bush baby and our own government, CIA, 70s. So all this was set up. Dragonfly program, once again, Google, US, like 20 years ago now, probably. So all this, folks, all this is just us. It's us all over again. But the general public doesn't grasp it. The general public is so stupid. They know nothing about Agenda 21 or 2030 now. They don't realize that all this connects. I don't know about your city. Is there bike paths everywhere now? Is that the new hip thing? Bike paths everywhere? The lanes are getting more narrow, the widening of the bike paths. Nothing but Agenda 21 housing everywhere. These little fake downtowns where they've taken a cow pasture and made it a fake downtown with all the shopping on the lower levels, all the housing on the upper levels, and all kinds of Agenda 21 housing all over the place near that structure. It's the smart city that they talked about. Everything's connected with wireless internet that's being force-fed and raped upon you, just like this Palantir nonsense. Because there's no escaping the 5G. There's no escaping the smart city because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So you'll live in your little 800 square foot coffin apartment above the fake downtown. You'll pay astronomical prices for it. And then you'll do your shopping below. But most everything will be delivered, and everything that is below will be AI controlled soon enough. So there will be no workers, or at least very few, just enough to make the donuts, as they say. See, the general public thinks that this AI is going to take away these horrible jobs that people just don't want to do anymore. Is this the same jobs that Trump says, I suppose Americans are too stupid to do, so now we have to have these 5 H-1B visas so we can hire all these Indians to come over here and spread their deliciously lovely culture from India to here. Hope you're picking up on the sarcasm because I'm laying it on pretty thick, to quote David Spade. So that's what it's going to be like. So there's going to be a huge unemployment problem because AI is going to take all the big jobs. But don't worry, because then, just like has been done in the past, we'll have a welfare state, a nanny state, and a welfare state going hand in hand. You see, just like they rolled out in the ghetto, they made the ghetto sort of dingy and dirty and just plain and stripped down and bare bones. But now the ghetto will just be your little coffin apartment above your little smart city. And you'll get that guaranteed living wage. The only caveat is, you've got to eat exactly what they tell you to eat, because that's all your social credit score and your EBT card will allow you to buy. The bugs. Yeah, and the roach milk. just like Bill Gates prescribed you to have. And speaking of prescriptions, you'll only get the prescriptions that are deemed necessary. And once you get a certain age, well, nothing will be necessary. No, you won't get that operation because you'll just get a cane. Because that was all laid out in Bear-Sataro Care, aka Obamacare. So once you're deemed useless, you'll just be Soylent Green. So that's what your life's going to be. It's all the funsy fun bits of slavery without the plantation. And just like, I can't remember this, the name of this movie. Came out like 20 years ago, had Justin Timberlake in it. But it basically was a futuristic city where you couldn't go in different areas. And all this is Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. This is nothing new or novel. Because the slaves will be in a certain sector, and that's the only places they can be. So you can't travel beyond your sector. I mean, we've seen this in dystopian in movies for decades. This is like Blade Runner. This is, oh man, that great one from the 70s. I can't think of it. Well, I'll think of it later. It'll make sense. But this is nothing new. This is Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. This is what the quote unquote elites have been talking about for about 100 years. Easy. All the big books, you know, the Childhood's End, 1984, Future Shock, like all this stuff. Kurzweil, all these people have told you this over and over again. You just thought it wasn't going to happen. In the blink of an eye, it will happen. You'll be jobless. You'll be put in just that scenario that I said. You'll have no real currency. It'll all be based on your credit and then be based on your EBT because you'll be jobless and you'll have to go on assistance. Your assistance will be based on your compliance. You won't be able to go travel anywhere you want to go because you'll be in your specific sector. You can't go to the elite areas. You can't go to the wilderness zones that they're going to have. Most of these states are going to be wilderness zones. So you won't be able to go there at all. That's just for the elites. And you'll just be a little cog in the machine, only to be turned into Soylent Green once you reach a certain age. And that's really what's coming down the pike, folks. And I saw something today. I don't know what kind of creature this was. It was some sort of tranny they then thing. But it made a pretty darn good point. It was speaking about musicians. And you could throw in artists, writers, poets. All this is going to be gone, folks. It's gone. All these just sort of creative jobs are no longer going to exist anymore. And why would they? What's the payoff? In essence, what's the payoff? I saw something today. I think it was Rod Stewart. Lord only knows how old this guy is. Same with David Lee Roth and same with all these kind of like legacy acts that are well into their 70s and 80s now. It's the saddest thing in the world. Because you got these alleged millionaires out there still doing their shtick horribly, I might add, for money. Because in case you missed it, the music industry is a scam, a hustle, a dodge, and a con. And the only real way of making money in that industry in 2025 is to tour. Because you're not making butt kiss on Spotify. You're not making butt kiss on your record or your albums unless you own your catalog and unless you're basically self-producing your own records and distributing them yourself. That's the only way. I mean, it's so funny because I look back at maybe, heck, even like 10 years ago. Even 10 years ago, people would look down upon people that would self-publish a book. Oh, you're self-publishing. I'm like, oh, you mean you're keeping all your profits? What a novel idea. You mean you're actually not giving a cut to the distributor, to the publisher, to the agent, to all of the little hands in between? You're actually keeping your profits. What a novel concept. Same thing with musicians. You're actually distributing, producing, and you own your own catalog. Then you're actually keeping all your own profits. Because if you don't, there's even more hands in the music industry taking all your money. That's why you see these acts and people make fun of them, say this is sad. And then the other side, oh, these are still doing something I love. I guess. But I mean, do you want to be like in your 80s doing the same crud you were doing in your teens? That just seems ridiculous. But that's the world that we're going to live in, folks. And people have not really fully embraced, you're going to see it in this next 2026 census. They don't really grasp how bleeped up the population problem is. And I'm not talking about the population bomb. No, I'm talking about the population implosion. The only thing, and this is another sad truth, the only thing really keeping the numbers in America up is the illegals. And is the immigrants and the H1C B or whatever the belief it is, visas and everything else. Because the American people are not producing at anything near replacement level. Has anybody else noticed this? When you go to any store now, and we're talking stores that in my era, they would have been just completely run by high school kids. There might have been like that one kind of older guy in his 20s that was a manager, but it was vastly high school kids. I mean, we're talking fast food restaurants. We're talking movie theaters. We're even talking about these little 5 and dime bleep holes that are all across the, the Dollar Generals, the Dollar Trees, or whatever the heck it is. Like most all this, even the big box stores back in the day, was primarily high school kids. And then you saw it kind of switching over from high school and then college. And then you saw it switching over from high school to college to middle-aged young adults. And now you're seeing it high school, college, and old people. And folks, the population implosion is so bleeped. That's exactly what you are going to see. If there's any humans working in the next 20 years in any real capacity, it's going to be filled with a lot of old people. And I'm not throwing barbs or disparaging comments here. That's the fact, Jack. Because that's what you see now. I don't do a bleep a lot of shopping. I try not to leave the house because I want to vomit when I do. But that's really the case, man. It's older people. People on retirement, people on Social Security, people just trying to still stay afloat after the lie that is and was the American dream. That's what's up. And it's not going to get any better because there's not a replacement population to replace them. The white people in this country are not replacing themselves. Cold hard facts. The people that built this country are not replacing themselves. Why, John? Because number one, they can't afford it. Number one, they cannot afford it. Number two, they're not, and it coincides with number one, they're not getting the benefits, the cutbacks, the EBTs, all this other horse petite that the protected classes are getting. So thus they can't afford it. Number three, the fertility rate is bottoming out. But why, John? Because of the air, food, and water, because of the estrogen mimicking hormones, because the general water supply is so suffused with all the birth control remnants that what did it happen like 1962 to now and beyond. Our water supply is full of estrogen. The food supply is full of soy. It's full of the contaminants from the Roundup, from the GMO. All this stuff is estrogen mimicking. There's a reason why everybody's so sexually confused. Everyone's trans. Everyone's effeminate. Everyone thinks they're batting for the other team. There's a reason, folks, and it ain't a coincidence. It's not happenstance. But if you talk about it, like I talked for the last 2 shows, you get criticized, you get demonized, you get marginalized. You're not supposed to notice that you're getting totally bleeped here. So these are just all things to come. Get ready for the fun. Because the general public thinks, oh man, I'm not going to have to work this crap job anymore. Well, you're right. You're not going to work any job anymore. Because think about this, folks. If you're working a crap job now, and you get replaced by AI, and you've been doing this crap job for 15, maybe even 20 years, then what exactly are you going to go into? You think you're going from a checkout girl at Dollar Tree to what? Some sort of engineering position? You think you're going to get a doctor nursing job? No, because most of all that's going to be AI too. Like I said, the telemedicine is going to take over. And in case you missed it, there's a whole lot of robotic surgeries going on right about now. You just haven't noticed. The people are going to gradually be taken out of the equation. Take a look on any job site. Just do this one for me. Look on any job site. Tell me what you see. A vast majority of the jobs are AI training jobs. That's fancy speak for training your replacement. So if you think, oh man, I've been doing this for so long, I'm going to do this and I can be a great AI trainer. You are training the machine to replace you, to do away with you. That's what you're doing. And people have to take some of these gigs. I'm not even making fun of you, man. We live in such a bleep world where I understand it. People are taking anything they can get, even if it's something that's going to kill them. Even if it's something that's going to replace you, put you on the government dole, put you in the same position I just mentioned for the last 45 minutes. That's the plan. That's Agenda 21. That's Agenda 2030. Destroy the population. Make birth control sexy. Make being a whore cool. Make abortion fun. That's what this is all about. It's about destroying the population, folks. That's why all these chemicals are in the food, air, water, and otherwise. Because they know a bunch of trannies and queers aren't going to be reproducing. Did you pick up on that yet? That's not going to happen. That can't happen scientifically. But it can happen just like last week that I think they had, what was like a cow or a pig growing in a fake womb. That's just more obvious stuff too. They've been talking about this and doing this for probably 20 years. Test tube babies, fake wombs. So you don't even have to bother with having a child anymore. You don't want to gain all that weight and look ugly, do you? Then you can't do your OnlyFans career. Let's just leave this to the experts. We'll let the doctors take over, and you can just get a donor and your egg, and we'll put that in a fake womb. And in 9 months, you could just go in there and see your alleged child, and it'll get shot up with vaccines. It'll immediately become a ward of the state due to autism and all sorts of other abnormalities. Fear not, it'll probably be some sort of eunuch anyway. And if you don't like that, then you can get on the death pod program. This is what Canada's already laying out and rolling out, especially to the elderly or to the veterans. You know, you're having a tough time. Well, have you looked into the death pod? Yeah, it's a pretty good way to go. You know, if you're having a tough time here in Canada, maybe you're a little bit down. Maybe you've started to figure out what's going on. You're doing that proverbial noticing. Well, you know what you should do? You should jump in this death pod and just off yourself. Get you in this weird sort of oblong-shaped egg. You'll die. I guess you'll get shot into outer space like Superman. Maybe they'll shoot you towards the sun and you'll just be dead. That's just a whole other avenue that I haven't even gotten into. It's the decimation of population through all avenues. The horror culture of the OnlyFans. Oh, well, you can't get a job. You've pissed away 4 or 5 years in university. You're in $200,000 worth of hock. Well, you get online and be a whore. It'll be great. No one wants to settle down anyway. Who wants kids? I mean, that's just gross, right? If you do happen to have some bad luck and get knocked up, my goodness gracious, we'll just abort that clump of cells. Or as the former governor of Virginia said, we'll keep the baby comfortable till you decide with your AI doctor. Watched a great movie from 1971. It was predicated on a book, I'm assuming, of the same name, The Last Child. I've seen that movie before. My daughter and I were talking about just the state of things, all the things that I just covered, actually. So we watched that this evening, The Last Child. I couldn't possibly recommend a movie enough. was like an ABC movie of the week from 1971, covered everything that I just covered from 1971 perspective, folks. Everything. You're 65, you don't get health insurance anymore, you don't get coverage anymore, you're just off to die. You can only have one child, just like China's one-child policy, set up by us. And if you happen to have more than one child, well, then the government will take you and kill the baby and sterilize you. And after all, you're supposed to get sterilized after that one child anyway. You won't have any problems, right? So all this is a jailable offense. If you're having more than one child, well, you're going to the slammer, folks. We're going to kill your baby. We're going to sterilize you. You're going to serve some time. This is nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen. This is what is expected to be rolled out. So while you think, man, you're just going to get out of doing some of these tough jobs, you're going to sit back and relax, maybe do that whole thing from WALL-E, the movie, maybe turn into the people from Idiocracy, most likely. No. You are set to be eliminated. They want you dead. It's been a while since I've underscored this point on this show. They want you dead. It is Soylent Green. It is Blade Runner. It is Brave New World. It is 1984. What's that other one? I'm going to look this other movie up because I'm really getting hacked off on this one. 1970s. Logan's Run. That's the movie. I knew it was in there somewhere. Logan's Run, where you get a certain age, 30th birthday, and you're just going to die. Logan's Run. Yeah. They want you dead, folks. It's a big club. You ain't in the club. They want just enough humans to run the machines, keep everything operational. There's another one. Let me see. What was that Spielberg first movie? THX 1165, I believe. I can't find it online, but I think that's it. Same thing, folks. All these movies are the same. I mean, in case you hadn't figured it out yet, it's the Morlocks and the Eloys from the Time Machine. There's a certain class on the surface. There's a certain subsurface class. The scum, the plebs, the filth. They're just good for worker bees. They're just monitoring the machines. They want you dead. When the machine stops, another great short story. I mentioned this 10, 15 times in the show. That's it, folks. Just enough people to run the machines. That is the dystopian nightmare. There you go. That's exactly the AI plan to end humanity. Whether Trump is a knowing accomplice to this or not, I don't even know. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Because after all, half the population is so stupefied that he's the next Messiah, and the other half of the population thinks he's the next big Satan. So, bottom line, it really doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, Palantir is going to control your life. It's going to be all digital currency. They already got this at all the Whole Foods. They got a palm scanner up there. You can just scan your palm. Mark of the beast right there in your hand, right? That's how it goes from Revelations. They want you dead, folks. Admit it, don't admit it. It doesn't really matter to me. But hey, this is Trump's AI plan, his executive order to take you out of the equation. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Be safe out there. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the anomic age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.